Thank you. So more than 30 services are held a week at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. And although the church is temporarily closed because of the coronavirus pandemic, parishioners are still able to worship for Easter. So to tell us more about what is going on at one of the world's largest cathedrals is Reverend Canon Patrick Malloy from the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me just start with this. Up until yesterday, one of your chapels was in fact being converted to be used as a field hospital. That's no longer needed. I assume that's some good news on this Good Friday.
I don't know if it's good news overall for the progression of the illness, but I do know that it's good news. At least it seems that the curve is flattening enough that the available beds at Javits and the SS Comfort, as well as the field hospital in Central Park, suffice. At least that's how it seems from our end, so that the cathedral is not needed as a field hospital right now.
All right. And, so St. John the Divine has been doing services for Good Friday, Saturday, and Easter many, many years. This year it's going to be obviously very different. Tell us how that's going to play out.
When we went into isolation, we began doing all of our services online. So we are now doing morning prayer and evening prayer every day. And then on Sunday, in addition to that, we're gathering for services. And that's the pattern we're following during these next 3 days. So we have a service today at noon and then a service on Easter at 11. All of us are doing them from our apartment. So where you see me, if I were leading the service, is exactly where I would be. We're simply all accepting the fact that we can't go to church really, and we can't do business as usual. So we're doing it this way with all of us in our individual spaces, meeting one another by Zoom mostly.
Absolutely. I understand this is new reality that we're all in. But what about the older parishioners? Is it a little difficult to get them, up to speed on this technology? So how are you reaching out to them?
I suspect it was odd for a lot of people at first, and not just the older parishioners, because I think a great many people are just not used to doing group meetings this way. But it's amazing now how much everyone is up to speed. And really, there aren't many age distinctions as far as I can see. People are Zooming and Google Hangouting and doing all sorts of things that perhaps they haven't done before, but they're doing it very well now.
Absolutely. And on a side note, though, you have a soup kitchen that serves, 25,000 meals a year, also
Yeah.
many outreach programs. How have those been affected by this, and how are you trying to recover from it all?
The food program continues on. We serve meals only on Sundays, and they've altered from doing hot meals to doing bag lunches, which is a lot more labor intensive. But I have really great colleagues in that department who are doing a great job. As you can imagine, more people are coming here right now than even normally would. So not only have we not stopped that ministry, but we've ramped it up because of this. Other ministries here have had to discontinue their normal operations, like our school, like our after-school program. But they're like the church itself. They're continuing to operate through web access, through the social media, and through Zoom and other ways of connecting.
Any way that we can. So, Reverend, let me ask you, as we head into the Easter holiday, what's the message that you have for folks out there watching?
Well, first of all, good Passover to our Jewish sisters and brothers. I think, from a Christian perspective, during these days, I see in the dying and rising of Jesus an important truth, and that is that life can flourish even in the midst of death. Light can flourish even in the midst of darkness. And so the coronavirus is a terrible thing. It's terrible what it's doing to individual people and what it's doing to the city and to the nation, to the world. But I think that there is still light in the midst of this darkness. And I think that, if anything, is the message of Holy Week this year. That the mystery of Jesus dying and rising is not simply theoretical, but we can actually see that happening now as so many people are finding, in the midst of all of this misery, a kind of a human dignity and a willingness to pull together and for the good of the whole that I think is very encouraging.
New sense of humanity. All right. Reverend Malloy, thank you for talking with us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.